Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the 38th episode of my Black Ops Weapon Guide. Double the trouble. In this episode, we're covering the HS10. It's a semi-automatic weapon, unlocked once you've purchased all of the other shotguns. The HS10, or High Standard Model 10, is a US weapon, manufactured by the High Standard Manufacturing Company. It was designed in the mid-1950s, sold to High Standard in the mid-1960s, and the first units were produced in 1967. An unusual design, the HS10 has a bullpup configuration, with the trigger some distance ahead of the action. This means the weapon is of shorter overall length than a conventional shotgun, a useful trait when it comes to close-quarter interior use. Other bullpup shotguns include the South African NeoStead 2000 and the more recent Kel-Tec KSG. The HS10's short, balanced design meant that it was suitable for firing one-handed, ideal for situations where you need a manoeuvrable weapon. The weapon was designed by Police Sergeant Alfred Crouch for law enforcement, SWAT, and other tactical units. The weapon's favourable handling, paired with the versatility and power of a 12-gauge shotgun, made for an ideal entry weapon, and upon the weapon's introduction, it was adopted by some police agencies. However, it was found to have reliability issues, the semi-automatic action failing to cycle reliably amongst a few other ergonomic faults. In 1970, there was an updated model manufactured, the High Standard Model 10B, but many of the original issues remained. The HS10 fires 12-gauge cartridges, 2 3/4 inches in length. It feeds from a 4-round capacity tube magazine underneath the barrel, and this capacity is reflected in Black Ops. The HS10 is a low-damage shotgun, dealing as much damage per shot as the SPAS-12. Like the SPAS-12, the HS10 makes up for this lower-than-average damage with a higher rate of fire, up to 341 rounds per minute, meaning you can empty the magazine very quickly. This makes the weapon more forgiving of poor aim. Should your first shot fail to kill, you have an additional 3 at the ready. Recoil is seldom a factor with the shotguns, as the shot dispersion lessens the need for precision. Shot spread is moderate, and the HS10 is one of the shotguns that benefits from aiming down the sight, a tighter spread yielding more consistent kills. When using the single HS10 then, I'd recommend aiming. Aim time is standard for the shotgun class at a sprightly 200 milliseconds. Reloads are performed per shell, with the first round taking 1.35 seconds, and every subsequent one 0.65 seconds. Shotguns tend not to have a spectacular selection of attachment choices available, and as such there's only one choice for the HS10. Dual wield is unique to the shotgun category, granting you 2 HS10s for double the close-range firepower. This attachment is true to life, as the shotgun can be fired one-handed, although it is generally not advised to fire from the left shoulder, as the spent hulls are ejected with quite some force. Nevertheless, in-game this isn't a problem, and the twin shotguns will prove much more deadly up close than the single HS10. You do lose a portion of your effective range, hampering your effectiveness on the fringes of the shotgun's ability, but the doubling of your firepower up close, and the ability to dispense 8 rounds instead of 4, do offer benefit enough to elect this attachment. Of course, you must get close to put the pair of HS10s to work, and our class will be built around the potential close-range torrent of buckshot that these weapons can fire. Such close-range punch works well with shock tactics, getting as close to the enemy as quickly as possible, and tackling entire groups with overwhelming firepower. This is a great way to tackle enemy hardpoints, eroding entrenched defenders, and opening up avenues through which your team can move safely. Speed is our ally then, as getting close is vital. Our first perk, Lightweight, grants a 7% movement buff. This increase significant enough to help you outmaneuver opponents and cover exposed areas more quickly. In close-range gunfights, you'll be more easily able to avoid your enemy's aim, and the second you're within range, the advantage will be very much your own. Our second perk, Steady Aim, improves hipfire performance, and the Pro variant will speed up your weapon's recovery from sprinting. A tighter hipfire spread will help you place more shots where you want them, resulting in a quicker kill, and the Pro benefit will shave a fraction of a second off the time it takes to fire your shotguns in a close-range firefight. Our final perk, Marathon, will grant you the endurance to keep up with the enemy's movements, covering exposed areas and reaching the enemy's entrenched position sooner. For your lethal grenades, Semtex are the ideal choice for weakening or distracting enemies ahead of a shotgun assault. Concussion grenades are similarly useful. Ensure you use them often, as a stunned enemy is easy prey, especially if you're approaching from behind. For your equipment, the tactical insertion can be very useful, should your enemy be particularly stubborn in holding a spot. Place the TI in a safe spot nearby, and you can sustain a relentless assault until their safe hold is cleared. For your secondary, the 4-gun combo the dual pythons make for are a powerful choice. Slow to draw, but ideal for cases where you're pinned down needing a reload, or should you deplete your primary ammunition supply. The HS10 is a weapon with unparalleled close-range performance. With 2 shotguns capable of dispensing rapid-fire buckshot, there's not much that can withstand such a powerful force. Unlike some shotguns, you're not reliant on a one-shot kill either, so you can be a little looser in your aim and adjust suitably for any needed follow-up shots. With up to 8 shells on tap, if you're able to get close to a group of enemies, you can cut them down mercilessly. This weapon is only effective at a short range, however. If you're tackling an enemy outside of the weapon's comfort zone, you're gonna have a bad time. At long range, you'll be left helpless, meaning that effective use of this weapon is utterly dependent on your mobility and positioning. The HS10's magazine is a little less generous than the SPAS 12's too. 4 rounds is normally enough, but there will be occasions when you're left empty thanks to either bad luck or this weapon's sometimes inconsistent performance. Still, assuming you put this weapon to task as close to the enemy as you dare, you'll usually find you have the superior weapon, with even the high damage automatic rifles too slow to adequately resist. When it comes to fast-paced, close-quarter gunfights, when compared to the HS10, few weapons will perform to such a high standard. Thanks for watching. This has been Xbox Ahoy. Join me next time when I'll be covering the last sniper rifle, the PSG-1. Until then, farewell.